Hi, everyone.
Hello.
I am Saberamesia, to be precise. And tonight I'm going to be running Greek Memories of Azur for you. With me, I am really lucky to have Ana Fernandez and Rod Fernandez from Navigante Games, who developed this. Can you say hi real quick?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the invite, Sabera. We're super happy to be here and to see how cool you've make the game look while speedrunning.
Hi everyone, I'm Ana. I'm the producer of Navigante. Super excited to be here with you all.
Awesome. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and get started with the run. Time is going to start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. We start this game with our by our little lonesome. This is Greek. He is small and fast. He has this neat little dodge roll that makes him go a little bit faster. It makes him go slower on upslopes though, so you really want to just walk through the upslopes. He also has a double jump. That's pretty cool. And he can also run at full speed while slashing his sword. He has an older brother, Radel, who cannot run at full speed while slashing his sword. In fact, he has to stop. And sister Adara, also older, I believe, who can shoot magic and hover. Radel also has a hook shot. So we want to find our siblings. So we're running through this forest, trying to figure out, how to find our siblings. There was a sigil that Adara left us a little earlier, so we're just kind of following the road. This area is a little tutorial for Greek's movement. And in a little bit, we're going to get a tutorial on how sibling movement mechanics work. But basically for this area, I'm mostly just trying to dodge roll as much as possible, not get hit by enemies, and avoid staggering. So this game has a fall stagger similar to Symphony of the Night. If you fall too far, your characters will stagger for a little bit, and you don't want to do that. Little cutscene on the bridge. I turn around to fall as fast as possible and move out of the tutorial sequence and into a dream sequence because we're going to fall to the bottom of a waterfall and become unconscious. Up until I reach this ledge, Greek is just kind of plod along. Now I have full control back. So we have water mechanics here. If you skim jump along the top of the water, you move at your normal horizontal movement speed, but if you swim, you don't. So you do want to do those skim jumps to save a little bit of time here. This is Greek's sister Adara. We're separated by these gates. She's gonna show me how to get out of here. So this is Adara. She fires these magic blasts, and you can see there's a little magic meter above her head. That also applies to her hover. So they actually draw from the same meter. So if you are hovering, you are using up magic that you need to attack. You can run out of magic and not be able to attack with her anymore for a little while until it recharges. She has a little backdash there. And now that we have the siblings together, we are learning how to use our mimic mechanics. So I am holding down the left trigger, and that is going to make both siblings do whatever I'm doing on the keys. I let go to leave Greek on that button so that Adara can come here and hold down the button so that Greek can come up. We're going to reunite the siblings on the other side of these gates. We're going to see a number of these puzzles over the course of the run. This one's a little bit unique. I'm supposed to push this rock in there to hold the button, but actually it's faster to have Adara push it through the gate and take a little bit of damage there. We will never see another pushing puzzle for the entire rest of the game. Now, I was supposed to regroup my characters there, in which Greek would, stand still and wait for Adara to catch up to him, and you can control her by jumping while she's regrouping, but the game only gates you on having pressed the button once, and does not require you to exit with both characters, so we just run Greek out because he's faster by himself. He's going to get found at the bottom of the waterfall, and he's going to wake up in Ravensroad Camp. This woman is watching over him. and he's pretty badly injured. So, we're going to kind of slowly get out of bed and limp over here, and she's going to tell us how happy she is to see us. We're looking for our sister Adara. She's going to be like, that's cool, but first, get your strength back by eating some soup. But just eating the soup is not enough. We actually have to recover health from it, and that takes a little bit of time, so you do have to wait before trying to talk to her again. And then you really don't want to talk to that guy because he has a little bit of a long spiel, but it can be easy to accidentally run into him. And now the exterior of Ravens Road Camp. We're going to take a quick save here to spare ourselves a lecture from a guard on the way out, and we're going to run into Tauros here. Tauros is trying to build an airship, and he wants our help. He gave me two choices, or there were two choices for how I could respond to him asking for my help. I was basically mashing down and confirm at the same time, trying to get the second choice instead of the first choice because the dialogue is a little bit shorter. It's not that much shorter, it's not that big of a deal, but I didn't quite get it this time. But what Tauros wants us to do is go out and into Valora Waterfalls, which is where we are right now, and pick up 4 pieces of rope. So there's our first piece of rope. It's important to grab this one first because we're not going to get a chance to come back to this portion. There's no way for us to climb back up to the top of the waterfalls from there. So if we fall back later, then we basically lose a bunch of time having to climb back around. Greek can swim. He has a very small oxygen meter, so he can drown pretty easily. And he doesn't swim particularly fast. Later on, when we actually meet up with Adara for real, she's a much stronger swimmer, and we still won't be using her to swim. I'm going to get that thing out of my way because it's a little bit annoying to navigate around those particles. It's technically possible to do it, but who wants to? You do have a little bit of coyote time in this game, so I don't have to pull the platform all the way over. You can just kind of pull it a little bit of the ways and then do a coyote jump over to make that. Obviously, you've seen at this point that the mushrooms are springy things. Sometimes we want to jump on them because we want height, and some of them we don't. Some of the time we don't want to jump on them because we don't want to have to go boingy. But we're going to go ahead and grab our third piece of rope. Now, one thing you may have noticed me doing is as soon as I pick up an item or enter a door or something like that, I'm slashing my sword to cancel the item pickup animation until the text box appears, and that lets me get a little bit more distance. When I do it indoors, it actually lets me prevent myself from taking hits from nearby enemies by giving me the ability to continue moving until the door transition actually triggers. So there are lots of little optimizations in this game. I wouldn't say that this is fully optimized because it's only been run, whoop, yikes, for
nice.
A little bit.
Nice
so
save.
far. Thank you. That was a little scary. Ooh, health drop. Yay. So that little red sphere that popped into me was a health drop. These little slime enemies are probably the nastiest enemies in the game. If you get close to them, they jut out spikes and hurt you. And if you kill the big slimes, they split into a bunch of smaller slimes. It's so hard to avoid. It's like speedrunner's bane. But we're going to take this rope to Tauros, and we want to talk to Tauros from the right-hand side so that we can dodge roll more. Again, little optimizations. And he's going to be so excited that we managed to get the rope that he's going to be like, hey, can you go get some gas for me too? So we have 3 magic containers with which to pick up magic liquid, and we have to go all the way out east to the Viga Marshes to do that. And to get to the Viga Marshes, we have to go through the Zindra Forest, which is right here. Zindra Forest is an interstitial area. It is a place you go on the way to other things. There are no quests or missions in here unless you're trying to pick up relics. There is actually hidden in here an extra life point for Greek. We're gonna try and oh no, we did not make it through. I need you to go somewhere else. I'm just gonna kill him. It's possible to get through this door without fighting that Erlog. But that guy was not giving me a good time, so we just zapped him. We're not going to pick up that life point. It's not important enough for the amount of time that it takes. But just in case you're curious, there is stuff that's here. So as we're gonna move our way through to the right, we're not going to take the shortest possible path to the Viga Marshes. The reason for that is because we want to kind of go a little bit out of our way, just a wee little bit over here, because there's a fast travel stone over here that we want to activate, which we're going to use later, both to avoid a whole bunch of backtracking and also to dodge a little cutscene that we would otherwise have to watch exiting the camp. I'm going to go ahead and eat a couple of things. I forgot to pick up the whetstones this time. That's fine. You can make this a little bit faster by stopping to buy a couple of whetstones, which temporarily increase your attack power. And that makes these vines take 1 hit instead of 2 hits, and it also makes this boss a lot less annoying. This is the Erlag Scout. He has a bunch of lackeys that are going to show up before he fights us. So that's one of them. He has 2 more, and also these plague crawlers that he's going to send after us. I did not do that correctly. Come on. Yeah, so these guys teleport around. It's honestly, they're
Pretty sneaky.
yeah, they're a little bit RNG as well. So this fight can be a little bit. This can be a little bit difficult to get done quickly. What we're trying to do is this. Is basically to get behind him and run while slashing him repeatedly, because remember, we can run at full speed while we slash, and every time we slash him it stuns him a little bit. So you can actually keep up with him if you get started on the right place. There we go, and
Nice.
gone. That was a halfway decent fight. I've definitely had better, and again, if you have the whetstone, so Greek does 2 damage per sword slash. The whetstone increases the amount of damage that he does by 1, so that's a 50% increase in outgoing damage, which is really pretty significant. Pay attention to this fast travel stone. We'll be using it in a little while. We're not supposed to be using it in a little while, but we're going to, because rules are meant to be broken, basically. So this tunnel that I'm climbing through is meant to make it so that only Greek can go in and out of these 2 areas of the swamp. That was definitely the intent there. Sorry, Rod, it sounded like you were about to say something.
Yeah, I think that boat that you just encountered is probably the one that is going to be giving you most trouble throughout the different runs, because it's probably the most RNG based of them all, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Actually the one that gives me the hardest time is the second to last boss, just because even RNG notwithstanding, the quick kill on that boss is pretty difficult, and I'll be talking more about that later. Okay, so in this portion of the swamp, there are a bunch of these puzzles. You've seen that I've solved some of them already. With reflectors and beams of light, we're trying to direct them towards stones to make platforms move. I'm going to be trying to avoid solving those puzzles whenever possible, just going around them. So the one that leads up here to where we can find Adara, I was able to just jump from a specific spot and clear that without actually having to move the platform. Now that we have Adara, what we're expected to do is make our way into the depths of this dungeon, because remember, or cave, I guess, because remember, Adara cannot climb through that little hole that Greek came in through. We're supposed to fight another boss, which leads us to a bronze crest that lets us get out of here by going back up to the area where we found Adara. That's about right. And opening a gate, and that takes us back out to the Valora Waterfalls where we were before. Come on. Doing precise positioning on this can be a little bit funky. And then, we go through the waterfalls to town. We're not going to do any of that. So, in the original version of this run, We didn't solve this puzzle and we didn't get a jar here because there's another one on the way out from the boss. And I had a very dangerous skip to avoid doing one of these puzzles a little later on. There's like a wall of thorns that you can basically damage boost through and just climb right up instead of moving a whole bunch of platforms around. But we're just going to do shenanigans instead. So we're going to come here and we're going to get our last of the 3 magic jars that we need in order to... there we go. There's our third. And so there's this... we're just going to go back the way that we came. And, you know, we actually do need to bring Adara out of the marshes with us. We're not just leaving her here for dead or anything like that. That would be awful. There is actually a glitch where you can accidentally erase your siblings, but we're not going to do that one. There's a big class of glitches called remote interaction, and basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this treasure chest with Greek in such a way that the game thinks I'm opening it with Adara, and the forced motion of opening the treasure chest is going to teleport her out to the treasure chest, and that is the first but certainly not the only use of remote interaction glitches. Don't do remote interaction on a teleport stone. It will erase your siblings. Don't do it. But so now we are back in Raven's Road Camp without having to go all the long way around. Because Greek is faster, and we're going to basically teleport right back to Zindra Forest after this, I'm going to send him to turn in the quest and talk to Valgor over here, and we're going to go ahead and pick up the next quest, where we're going to have to go to Lyser Fortress. We're going to have to use that key to unlock it, Oop, I need that whetstone. And we're going to need to put the metal into a forge so that it can become a smelted bar of metal. And of course, there's going to be lots of enemies and a boss barring our way. And that is probably one of the most... The upcoming boss is actually one of the most dangerous bosses of the run. The Erlag, I think, Bonebreaker?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
correct.
It's arrow decked.
There's a safety strat for that boss where basically you don't take Adara down with you, you just take Greek for the fight, because managing 2 siblings for that fight is actually quite difficult, but it is substantially faster to have the extra damage that Adara provides, and so do in fact end up taking her and dealing with nope, not today.
Nice.
And just kind of dealing with the extra difficulty of it because the time save is fairly significant. So here we're coming up on Lyser Fortress. There's a little bit of a walk and cutscene here. So if there is any messages from our fine host, now would be a good time.
Yes, of course. I do have indeed received some donation. We have $5 from Mafu saying, round it up to $5 for Sparky Struggling Run. Awesome marathon and great run, Sparky. We also got $10 from our previous runners, Sparky McCalc 1. Here's $2.50 for each of my 4 deaths during my struggling run. Had a great time with everybody here at Indiethon, and good luck to all those runners that are coming up later on. Remember, those 4 deaths are legally binding for donation. Winky face. We also have $20 from 8822 Sweebium. Alright, thank you very much. With no comment, but thank you very much nonetheless. Back to you.
Okay, so you've seen me make at least one jump here that I wasn't supposed to be able to make. Adara is not you're not supposed to come up at this from this side. You're supposed to go around and come up and around from the left. Oh wait. you are the wrong sibling. I do not need to give you health. We're going to take some safety health here because we did take a couple of hits. So you're supposed to come from this way back to the left, but it turns out that she's just barely able to make that jump, which cuts down on the running around significantly. So these cages are linked to weights. So, you stand on it, the weight goes down. Ooh, that was bad. There we go. And again, not really supposed to make that jump that way, but there's enough time in the hover to make that work. Unfortunately, you cannot solve the entire puzzle with just one sibling because I would much rather not do back and forth shenanigans. But there is no getting around it on this one, unfortunately. This is just taking some solid damage there. Let's eat. I hope that's low enough. We'll find out.
It's great how you have actually get very used to the regroup mechanic, because that's something that we think it's super useful in the long run, but it kind of gets strange getting used to it, right? Like regrouping the characters together and then moving them around.
Yeah, I will say that it did really take some getting used to. But it turns out to be a great way to coordinate movement as well, because anytime that like one character is holding on to a crank, for example, regroup will force them to let go of it without switching the characters around, which is really cool. Now here I'm supposed to send Greek around kind of the long way to open a crank and open a doorway for Adara to come around. Again, not going to do that just because that would be slow. So we're going to go ahead and use a whetstone here. This, I took a safety save because this fight could go a little wrong. So this is the Erlog Bonebreaker. He has basically two attacks. He has a jump slam attack, after which he will do a secondary slam if we're too close. And he also has a charge attack where he charges into the walls. In his second phase, he'll do each of these 3 times before kind of either stunning or breaking for a little bit. Oh no. All right, yeah, so I got a little over aggressive there, so we're gonna have to do that again. So, like I said, this is one of the most dangerous bosses in the run, just because there's not really time to heal, and if you're too aggressive, it's really easy to take a hit like that. Ooh, jeez, ooh.
Yeah, we especially planned for this boss to be more taking your time to figure it out. That's why you can lower one of the cages and move one character above. So the fact that you're trying to make it as a group and make it as fast as possible is definitely a challenge.
Yeah, it is actually fairly doable. 1, 2, and 3, and
3,
not take a slam
4.
there. And 1, 2, 3. And there we go. All right,
Nice.
cool.
Oh, nice. I was stressed.
That is a stressful fight. It is really easy to lose runs to that. So now we're able to access the forge. We're gonna put the Lorian metal in the forge, and we specifically want Adara to pick it up because this is a setup for a glitch that we're gonna do. Another remote interaction glitch called Spooky Banter at a Distance that we're gonna do when we get back to town. But for now, Adara is going to have a vision of our brother who is way out in a snowy temple, and we're gonna have to kind of figure out. All right, let's see. We are low on health here. That is not super great. It's cool. We're gonna find a small potion right here. Okay.
Nice.
And boop. Yeah, so there's the chessboard there is a kind of minor optimization in the scheme of things, but it is still nice. Also, you'll notice that even though Adara was the character that was warped for the treasure chest, Greek is the one who got the item in his inventory. That's kind of one of the finer points of inventory management, because you can only store 4 different types of items in Greek's inventory, and Adara gets 3 and Radel gets 2 by default. They're items for picking up. There are items that increase your inventory capacity by 1 for each character. But now we have kind of a long walk back to town, so if we have any other messages, now is a good time for them.
Well, we have indeed received another donation. It is $10 by Chaya with the comment, "Always great to see Sabera running Greek. I've been having a bad day, but this cheered me right up. Thank you very much, Chaya, for your donation."
Oh, thank you so much, Kaya. I appreciate it, and I am glad that this was able to cheer you up. So we're gonna go ahead and take this teleport stone back to town. And so if we had done the next mission that we need to do, we need to go find Yensi. Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
And then he's going to give us a note to take to his friend Farvin. And the easiest way to get to Farvin is actually through the basement of this, which we would have opened up if we had come out of the Viga Marshes the correct way. But since we don't, we are just going to turn in the quest from very far away. And that is going to make Adara walk through a wall. So that is called spooky banter at a distance. And
that's super clever. Yeah. Great way around it.
Do you want to explain what's happening there in terms of the game engine?
Yeah, for sure. The issue is that the characters always try to move towards the one of the characters when talking, and the fact is that the basement section on that level is actually right above where the blacksmith is. So the fact that Adara crosses at that point of the map is because you are kind of confusing the game by making her walk towards the horizontal axis of the blacksmith, but she's still above the floor. So the fact is, since the character is moved like a command, let's say it takes some time to make ignore physics, so the character actually gets in front of the other character. It goes through the door in that way, and it's a great way to to just let's say skip that door. But I don't think there's a lot of scenarios where that will work on other places. Maybe. Maybe I'm wrong.
There are in fact not that many places where you can pass through a door doing that, because you need somebody to talk to, and they have to be in a like fairly appropriate position.
Yes.
Like they have to have the right X coordinates. But there is one other use of that glitch, which is that it allows us to turn in quests from very far away. Characters don't share key items, so Adara does not have the letter from Yensi to Farvin. So if I just talk to Farvin normally, I won't be able to turn in the quest. But if I... There we go.
Nice.
If I use Spooky Mentor at a distance, I can turn in the letter from completely across the map. And the kind of action of being teleported to where Yensi and Farvin are affects both siblings. So we get regrouped automatically there. We don't have to walk all the way. I have to say, I have to ask a little bit, why does Yensi need Farvin to cut this tree down? It doesn't look like Farvin is doing very much.
Supposedly, it's because if they cut the tree together, it was kind of faster, or that's like the reasoning behind why Jensi needs Farvin. But it's more, I think, like of a way of, okay, help me do this and I'll help you, right? Because
Right.
supposedly in the story, supposedly Farvin is like building a fort, so it's kind of in his own little world, right?
Right.
Mostly to convince you to help him, I think.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So a funny story is that if we were able to skip doing that bridge sequence entirely, we wouldn't have to do any of the quests that we've done so far, because if we could get both characters into this area and into the next area, then we could advance the state of the world. But instead, we do have to do all of that stuff. So this area has a number of ice puzzles that are, we're supposed to use torches and light bonfires, and it's really interesting to play. You should check it out. But we're gonna skip all of that because we can use torches to fly. So that's a trick called Firefly. It turns out that catching a torch in midair resets your jump. And so you can, with a character who double jumps, just drop and re-grab a torch again and again and again and again, and basically fly your way to the shortcut that is supposed to let you out of here. So we have a little bit of time as we walk to our next destination for any other things you might want to say.
Yes, I want to talk a little bit about our sponsor because Indiethon is sponsored by Team 17, and they are an independent indie developer publisher, and they have kindly provided us with our awesome grand prize, which you can see if you type in !prizes, which is a game pack that also includes this very game. So if you're interested in that, do make sure to check that out. And even more games that they have published can be found at their website at team17.com. So be sure to check them out.
Yes, and I highly recommend this game. So you saw me do a firefly there for somewhere where I didn't need to cross a gap, and that is because fireflying is actually faster than walking with a torch, because during the time where you let go of the torch, you regain your normal horizontal movement speed, whereas when you're holding a torch, you move slower than normal. So that is... This is actually a really interesting puzzle. The ladder that's below us, there's another line of ice blocks underneath it, and so you're supposed to use your sibling to like carry the ladder around and ooh, no, lost it. And transit a torch across. There we go. But since we can fly, we can basically skip all of that. So the trick that I just did, fire flying up a wall, is actually much harder than doing it normally, because you have to basically be at the right distance to throw the torch at the wall, have it rebound a little bit, and be able to catch it. And it is trickier than it looks. The Firefly lets us shorten a lot of the stuff that we need to do in Arcantos Temple, but it doesn't let us skip it outright the way that it let us skip most of Sorkashan. So we do still have to like go around and collect the Sun Crest and the Moon Crest, and ooh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, you
Wow.
did it!
Good
Oh
job.
my god.
I'm a little surprised that I made it. I'm glad that I had those healing items on me too. So this one's a fun one. There's
Firefly.
actually two different ways to do this using Firefly. Oh, geez, that's not right. Okay, we're gonna do the backup. Sorry, you were about to say something?
Firefly does take some good skill though. Like I've played so many times the game and I don't think I can do that.
Yeah, it takes a very specific rhythm, and it is a little we go. It can be a little bit difficult on the wrists because it is a little bit of a mashy thing. You're alternating jump and interact very rapidly. On the right side of this like garden area here, there is actually another set of puzzles. You're supposed to go kind of up and around and again come from the right to the left. And we're just oop. Ow. We're just gonna carry a torch over here. I've been carrying a torch for so long.
It does speed things up on this section of the game, right?
Yeah. This section really is like it's a lot longer if you can't do those things. And so if you play it casually and you don't do Firefly, and I recommend that you don't learn the glitch and skip this portion of the game, there's lots and lots of really interesting puzzles to solve. But we kind of come up on this area here, this altar where they open up a door to the light seal, which is going to be our entrance, our key into the final dungeon. And at the same time, it just so happens that Big Brother Radel is also coming to Arcantos Temple from a completely different angle. So one of the things that's really cool about this game is the accessibility features. If I can trouble you to talk about them for a little bit.
Sure. So we think that it's super important that the games are enjoyed by any type of player. So I think one of the key factors was adding, especially after launch, because it's hard to measure how much our people are gonna react to some problems. And one of them was, for example, people sometimes have issues when micromanaging characters. Of course, that's not the case on this run. You really got it mastered at this point, but some players had a couple of issues on that regard, and we added a feature for allowing one of the characters to be the idle characters to be invulnerable, as well as another feature to be able to use the hookshot from Rider automatically to those latches that Sabera is at the moment using, and that is just to make some of the players that may have any compromise or find it complicated to micromanage or have those kind of twitch movements be able to play the game as they wish.
Yeah, it's I think it's really cool. Invincible Invulnerable Companions, I believe the setting is called, is really really cool. It very much changes the difficulty curve of the game. But in a way that doesn't detract from playing it, because a lot of the things that are really like interesting and fun about this game are not really about avoiding damage, and the automatic hookshot aiming is super great, and it makes the hookshot super fun to use to move around. I don't know if you noticed, but Radel goes whoosh when you grapple onto walls and things. It is very fun. But so now we're all reunited. I didn't talk too much about the previous boss because that boss is very straightforward. We grapple his shield, we whack him in the face, we repeat. And now we're pretty much free to leave. We have another good opportunity as we're walking out of here for any messages from our host.
Certainly. Why don't I talk about what we are raising money for? Because Indiethon is raising money for Child's Play, and Child's Play was founded in 2003 by Mike. I hope I do not pronounce his name wrong. By Mike Crowley and Jerry Hawkins in response to how video games were portrayed negatively by the media. Today, they provide toys, games, and technology to over 185 hospitals worldwide to help improve hospitalized kids' lives. They also provide grants to hospitals to help maintain entertainment equipment and to research new ways that technology can help children during their hospital stays. you can visit their website at childsplaycharity.org to learn more about their efforts. So this is a great charity. If you have some money left over, then please consider donating. It's all for a good cause, and yeah, we also have some fun incentives. Also uh, you can also put your money towards, and some prizes that I've talked about as well. So go right ahead. I always love reading donations. Back to you.
All right. We get kind of cutscene warped back to Ravensroad Camp. Now, while we were gone, the Erlogs attacked the camp, and fortunately they were able to repel them. But they sent an expedition out into the Varane ruins to recover a primeval Kribe? Is that
Kribe?
how you pronounce
Yes.
it? Okay.
Was super close, yes.
Which is a magic stone that they need to power the airship. This expedition is like, okay, well, we really need to get out of here now. But the expedition never came back, so they're sending us to go through there. And so we're kind of marching through Valora Waterfalls in order to get here. This is another place in the game where there's lots of super interesting puzzles, lots of cool stuff, and we're going to skip just a ton of it. So apologies in advance for that. This actually, there's a really interesting couple of mechanics in here, one of which we won't see again, and one of which we will. One of them is, so Radel has a shield. You may have seen me using it during some of the sections in Arcantos Temple, the place that we just were. And here we are going to be using it to protect our siblings from laser beams. There's also these grappleable things that Radel can hookshot onto, but they can be turned into platforms that his siblings can use by hitting these bells. So Radel can, grapple and fling himself on them, but they can also become platforms in the under the right circumstances. Oh gosh, we're gonna be. Oh, you actually have healing stuff on you. That's good. I had good foresight there. So we're gonna pop you over here. And the little ones are going to come around the other side. So over here, birds are allergic to water, or plague bats, I guess, are allergic to water. So we're supposed to set Greek up on that platform and send Adara, the strong swimmer, around to the other side to open the door for him. But it turns out that... come on, mimic, please. What am I doing here? Oh, yeah, you missed.
Yeah, this is where I think the game is gonna get very interesting when speedrunning, because I think at this point it's getting very technical, micromanaging all the characters and moving around. So it's really cool seeing the different options that you got, especially with all the characters and how you approach them. That skip about going on the air bubbles was pretty smart. We never, I don't think we considered it when we were designing the puzzle, especially because people usually try to isolate each character to be their own forte,
Yeah.
Pretty awesome to see like how you skip some sections where we were like, okay.
So Adara, strictly speaking, is not supposed to be able to make that jump.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little fighting here. Oh no, we're gonna do a lot of fighting here. Okay, so this is another jump that we're not supposed to be able to make. And so you're supposed to kind of go a long way around there, and there are lots of different sibling changing puzzles, lots of just like. Alright, I need you to. I didn't want you to pick that up, but I also never wanted to drop it. It's fine. Nothing bad has happened. And we just don't do any of them because we're able to make those jumps by, inches. It's really like it's pretty threadbare, but you are with very precise positioning able to hit those. I passed off a couple of whetstones to Radel. I had 3 in Greek's inventory, and I gave 2 of them to Radel. The reason for that is Greek is not going to be joining us for the final boss fight. Spoiler alert. But he is going to be joining us for this one, and so we are going to go ahead and power ourselves up for this fight. I'm also going to go ahead and use that elixir so that Radel has full health for this fight. We don't really want to take any chances. This is the Erlagh Conqueror. He is the single most dangerous boss in the game. And the quick kill for this boss is... Okay, we got it.
Nice. That's pretty good.
If he manages to move long enough to attack you, his sword slash stuns all of your characters, and then he'll walk over to a stunned character, pick them up, and encase them in plague. And if all of your characters get encased in plague, it's game over. He also does a ton of damage. It's very, very scary to just be in there, like, wailing on him and hoping that you stun him with the bells at the appropriate times. That is the first time that I have ever gotten that quick kill perfectly in a live run. So you saw it here first. You saw it here first.
That's awesome. He's as scary as he should be then.
Yeah. So we get cutscene morphed back to camp again because he did steal and destroy the stone that we were looking for. And so the light seal that we had that lets us into the Aldolar Tomb is our last hope for finding a primeval Krive, which will allow us to power our airship and get the heck out of Azur. And so we get to ride the most adorable war beasts known to man, Boscos. Are these modeled after like a real animal or something? Because they like kind of remind me of like guinea pigs.
Yeah, it's kind of a mashup, I think. Actually, the name is taken from one of our neighbors' dog.
The dog.
Yeah, they are kind of doggy-like.
Yeah.
But they are very adorable. They jump. This entire segment is kind of an auto scroller. There isn't really anything that we can do to speed this up. I'm leaning right on the stick because the Bosco can be moved forward and backward to help you evade these barricades that I'm jumping, into the foreground and background to dodge. But I don't believe that it actually makes this scene go any faster.
It should be. Yeah, you actually can. You go slightly faster if you push it forward. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'm glad that I've been pushing it forward all this time because I've.
Yes, the other character will match your speed, but he should be going slightly faster.
Great. I also really like the noises that the characters make when the Bosco jumps. The sound design in this game is just wonderful.
Thank you.
But we're coming up on the final labyrinth here. This is the Aldolar Tomb, and here can I leave explaining what the core mechanic of Aldolar Tomb is to you two?
Sure. So the tomb was designed to be like one of the. Well, it was meant to be like a general puzzle of the whole. To be like an special puzzle of the characters. So you're meant to use each character as a piece on a huge, complicated maze. The idea was to make a level that could not be made on any other game, given our mechanic of interchanging the characters. So you're meant to find your way around the maze to break some seals that are scattered through the whole area. And for getting to each seal, you have to move around the characters between themselves. But the twist on the whole level is that they are isolated on different areas. So you really have to pay attention to how the level is laid out and how the characters move between those spaces to be able to find the solution. So yeah, that's pretty much the idea. Once you get the hang of it, of course, Sabera is doing it like great, but that was the intention behind it.
Yeah, so there are these teleporter spots where if you have two different characters touch each like side of the teleporter, and I'll show you what I mean as I run by them, they'll swap places. And between that and Greek's unique ability to crawl through tunnels, there is this like limiting factor on how you can move your siblings around. But the stone that I hit, the ceiling stone that I just hit, for example, was meant to be opened by Radel and one other character, and right, like there are those hookshot rings there, so Radel is supposed to be able to get up there and nobody else is. But it turns out that there's just enough wall that you can hang on to for Greek to be able to make that jump. And so what happens, it turns out that basically of the 3 stones that you're supposed to need some set of 2 characters to reach in some way, 2 of them can be reached by Greek by himself. Under somewhat difficult circumstances. So we're only going to actually perform 1 character swap because we do need to get Radel out of there. Radel is absolutely required for the 3rd one. As I said, Greek is not going to be joining us for the final battle because moving him back from the place where he breaks the 2nd stone is not it's not fast enough to be worth doing. So basically what we're going to do is we are going to run over here. So Radel is supposed to hookshot over there and be able to get to an upper teleport stone, and there's a lower teleport stone that matches that in the pit, but because we can basically just take a damage boost and hang onto the wall, we're able to grab the rope above the pit, and Greek can make the jump by himself. So he's the only one who can make it through to this one, because he needs to be able to crawl through the tunnel, and nobody else can do that. And there's a door here that can only be opened from the inside, and when we come out of this door, the place that we come out is actually on the route out of the dungeon after we beat the final boss, so we're literally just going to leave him there. In the meantime, we do need to get Adara down because we are going to need her help, both with fighting the final boss and also hitting the other seal, because we need at least 1 character who can swim to break the final seal. So we're gonna come over here, and you're gonna see exactly what we need these characters for in just 1 second. So we need Radel's shield to be able to block that laser beam. Adara's gonna come down here, hit a switch, and pull a raft over. And she is going to pull that just a little bit. She doesn't need to go too far. And then we're going to go ahead and drag it a little bit over here. And now she's just going to laser herself intentionally. Radel is going to walk through here, jump, hit this, and then drown, also intentionally. Now I can walk them over a little bit. I'm still trying to... Oh, I walked them too far without knowing exactly where they were. It is possible, because you can walk them during that cutscene, to basically get them a decent way up here, but I haven't yet memorized the footstep counting. I'm going to go take some safety health and a quick safety save. I don't think anything will go wrong here, but you can't be too careful. So we're going to go ahead and use that final whetstone. Now is coming up on the final boss of the game. It's not going to be time for a little bit yet, so don't worry about that. We're going to pick up this Primeval Krive, and that is going to release the plague. And so now we have a giant plague spider to fight.
Plague beast.
Yeah. Was this... Am I correct that this boss encounter was not actually in the very initial release of the game?
Yeah. Unfortunately, as you know, times are with developing the game. It was something that we wanted to put in the game, but due to time constraints and all the issues when it comes to actually shipping a product and everything, we couldn't manage to put it in on the first release of the game, which was very unfortunate because we think it actually adds a little bit of more excitement to the whole story. But yeah, thankfully, well, we could actually add it later, as you can see. But
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't in the main.
I mean, I'm glad that this is here. There's a lot of boss RNG with this one. Where he appears and what attacks he does. That's actually a pretty good fight. All right, we're done.
Nice.
All right. So now, as there must be, there is an escape sequence here. Fortunately, these big crusher blocks, I really appreciate that you did not make them instant death traps, as crusher blocks often are in video games, because that would have been really disappointing. They do 1 damage, but you know, that's better than better than dying. But so we do have to make our way out of here. Whoop. And because the characters are different sizes, their collision with the environment is a little bit different. I have, in several instances, gotten stuck on this door because I didn't open it enough for Radel to go through. He's a big boy. Hey, and here's Greek. So we're coming up on time, probably in about 30 seconds. We need to be able to pull this switch and leave. That switch is there. You actually can like get to it before you beat the final boss, but it doesn't do anything until you have completed the boss. And so now we basically just need to make our way back toward our friends. And time.
Nice.
Nice.
And that is Greak Memories of Azur, any percent. If you like this game, go buy it. Or enter, you know, donate, enter for the prize pack, see if you win it, and if you don't, go buy it. And then, once you've played it through casually, come join the speedrunning Discord. This is a fun game to run. There's a lot that you're juggling, but it is really satisfying, and it is just really excellent. Thanks to both of you for joining me. I really appreciate it. This was short notice, but it means a lot to me.
No, thank you so much for the invite. It was very interesting to see your breakdown of all the puzzles and the different mechanics. It takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to actually figure things out and learn how everything is structured. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really exciting, and seeing you like explaining and figuring all this out was really cool. So thank you so much for inviting us.
Absolutely. Well, I will give it back to our organizers.
Alright, thank you very much for